Hi everybody, hope everybody's safe and well. This is video number 4 for class number 1. Video number 4. Again, I'm trying to do shorter 15-minute videos or so, and this is our 4th video. So far we have covered the introduction of the class, the parts of the guitar, the basic method of tuning. One thing I can amend there is when you're using an electronic tuner, I didn't say this before, on the video, that you need to let the string ring so that the computer can hear it, and you don't want to stop the string and turn the key while there's no sound coming out. Always turn the key when the sound is coming out, and you can actually watch the needle move and tune while you are hearing it move. So we did tuning, we did cymbals, 1, 2, 3, and 4. P, I, M, and A. We did string names. If I take the classical guitar here, the nylon string, I have 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, E, A, D, G, B, E, E, A, D, G, B, E. Must have that memorized in order to do this next portion and in order to use your tuner too. So we're going to talk about naming notes on the guitar a little bit now. And I'm going to just read a little bit out of Chapter 2. Chapter 2 has worksheets in the PDFs from the Distler book that I want you to try to do. If you can print them out at home, try to fill in these worksheets. There's questions, and they're very straightforward, and I think will help you understand how the guitar works. It says music theory and the fretboard, half and whole steps. An overview of the entire guitar fretboard is helpful as a background for learning specific areas, meaning areas of the fretboard, higher and lower, and positions we call wherever our first finger is lined up on the fretboard. That's the position we're in. If my first finger is lined up to the 3rd fret, I'm in 3rd position. If my first finger is lined up to the 1st fret, I'm in 1st position. To provide this overview, a formula of whole and half steps will be used to locate the alphabet letters used in music on each string. So a whole step is the distance of 2 frets on the guitar, and a half step is the distance of 1 fret on the guitar. The terms whole step and half step may be applied to music on any instrument. Again, very important for us to know these terms, because I may start working with a singer and the singer says to me, that is a little too low for me where you're strumming those chords. Could you bring everything up a whole step? And I'm able to do that by moving the chords up the fretboard, or using a capo, or just turning a D chord into an E chord, moving up a whole step by letter name there. It also says this idea of using whole steps and half steps may be applied to music on any instrument, and we mean any Western instrument, and provide a link to working with other musicians and learning the basic formulas of music in the Western tradition or Western cultural tradition. This means flutes, violins, the accordion, a harp, a piano. They all use half and whole steps, all the brass instruments, etc. In its broad outlines, the studies of these formulas is called music theory, and that's a very broad term. Music theory can have to do with reading rhythms, building chords, understanding half and whole steps, that kind of thing. So I've got a little prop here just to illustrate something and how the keyboard works as compared to the guitar. Got my old Juno 1. And for those of you who've played keyboard before or not, this will be a relevant discussion. This key right here next to the 2 black keys is the key C. Notice there's a black key, then a white key, a black key, then a white key. Every time I move up 1 key, I'm going a half a step. Okay, so it's like going up 1 fret on my guitar at a time here. But there's some places where there isn't a black key. If this is C, this is B. B and C are always next to each other on the guitar, and on the keyboard, and on any other instrument where you have the Western scale. So B and C are next to each other. It's a whole step to D, a whole step to E, and E and F are next to each other. Then a whole step to G, a whole step to A, a whole step to B, and you see B and C. So every C looks the same on the keyboard, And that is something that makes their lives a lot easier, they being any piano player, could be you too. But that doesn't work for us on the guitar. It's not a visual instrument like that. Every C looks a little different. If I played the C's on the guitar, I would get something like this. C, 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 C. They're all over the place. But what I'll say now hopefully will make that make sense to you a little bit. So the basic rule that chapter 2 is talking about in the Disler book is what is a half step and what is a whole step, and how does that help us name the notes on the guitar. So these little diagrams and exercises are the worksheets where you have to color in a finger dot between the frets. You color the dot between the frets. You can see how they're done. The string is the vertical line again, and you want to draw in half steps where it asks and whole steps where it asks. The alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F, and G is always reoccurring, and we can make a rule that says every letter name is a whole step apart, or 2 frets apart, except B and C and E and F. So they're all 2 frets apart except B and C and E and F. Those will always be next to each other, and you do need to know that in order to find notes on your guitar, and you're going to see that over and over as we start to read and name notes on our guitar and do those exercises. So as the alphabet goes up, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, the sound is getting higher. You got to remember that when you're tuning too. If you're trying to tune the A string and your tuner says G, you need to go up. If you're trying to tune the A string and your tuner says B, you need to go down. So that consequently means that if I do the alphabet backwards, C, B, A, G, F, E, the sound is getting lower. Okay? Always 2 frets between a letter name except B and C and E and F. Well, I'm going to apply that to the guitar now. I want you to think about what the name of the first string is. Do you know it? You should. It is E. And when I play, the nut is holding the string. Okay, the nut is holding the string, and that's acting like a fret, a 0 fret we can call it. So when I need to go a half step, since E and F are always next to each other, I play the first fret and I get an F. Okay, so this is E, this is F. How far is it to G? Think to yourself. It's a whole step. So I don't have a fingering rule right now. You can just slide your finger up to the 3rd fret and you will be in 3rd position, and that is a G. How far is it up to A? It's a whole step. How far is it up to B? It is a whole step. How far to C? Well, B and C are always next to each other. So if this is B at 7th fret, 8th fret is C. 10th fret, because if C is here, D is a whole step higher. That's 10, D, and a whole step above that is E. And again, notice I am at the 12th fret here. 14th fret meets the body on this guitar, so I'm not at the body. 12, 13, 14. This is the 1 octave spot. What do I mean by octave? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 letter names. And I've gotten from E all the way through the musical alphabet back to E again. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. And I can't tell you how often I have students come to me who've played a long time or a little bit of time or many, many years, and they feel like they're not making any progress on their guitar. And the first thing I ask them is, can they name all the notes on their guitar? And I usually get kind of a squeamish answer about, well, if I think about it, I can find them. It takes a long time to get comfortable with it, but these types of exercises of just going up and down the string will make them very apparent quickly, more quickly than you might think. One really good exercise you can do is to give yourself a letter name and try to find it on each string, just like I did with C a moment ago. So if I say, let's say the letter name E this time, I can say, well, that's E because it's an open string. And then I know where the E is on the A string just by counting up. Oh, now I'm out of place. There's the E. D to E is a whole step. On the A string, I went A, B, C, D, E. D, E on the D string. G string, number 3, G, A, B, C, D, E. You see what I mean? So I'm forcing myself to look for a specific spot on the fretboard. Every string, it's going to be at a different place. On the B string, B and C are neighbors, half step apart, whole step to D. There's the E at the 5th fret, and there's E. So, what do I need to know how to name notes on my guitar? First, I need to know the string names. So there's your first thing to memorize in this class besides symbols. As far as your guitar and getting to know it, getting a little more intimate with the guitar, you need to know the string names. E, A, D are the bass strings. E, A, D, G, B, E are the treble. Bass strings, treble. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then you need to know the musical alphabet. So I need to know the names of the strings, but I also need to know the musical alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. When the alphabet goes forward, the sound gets higher. When the alphabet goes backwards, the sound gets lower. Then I need to know the spacing between the letters. It's always 2 frets, except for B and C and E and F. So if I know all of those things, I have all the mechanics and all the theory I need to name any note on the fretboard. I'll do one string from open to 12th fret again. Here's the 3rd string, G. G is open. A is a whole step, 2 frets. B is a whole step, 2 frets, but B and C are neighbors. C is the 5th fret. D is 2 frets higher, that's 7. E is 2 frets higher, that's 9. F is right next to E, that's 9 and 10. And then the 12th fret is G. So that was E, F, G, and I'm repeating the G again. And then it starts all over again. If I wanted to keep going, it would be G to A is a whole step, A to B is a whole step, B to C is a half, C to D is a whole, and then I'm out of frets. I have a fret left, but not a natural letter name. What are the names in between the natural letter names? Well, let's take a look at the first string for a second. This is E, open, F, and G natural. Well, what is this one in between? It could be called F sharp, which is like a pound sign. Sharp can have more than one meaning in music, but generally the same idea. In other words, that is an F that has been raised up higher in pitch. But you can also say, my string is a little sharp, meaning higher in pitch, or that singer is sharp, meaning too high in pitch. This note has 2 names, though, in the middle here. It's F sharp, again, looks like a pound sign, the little symbol you put next to the note or the letter. And it could be called a flat. G is the letter name here, it could be called a G flat. Flat means lower in sound. So the G half step lower, exactly a half step lower for the flat symbol, or I could say the singer sounds flat, too low, or my string sounds flat, too low, and I want to tighten the string. So when you fill in the chart on page 11, and you must do that because that's going to be part of our written work, page 11 in the Distler. Again, this is something that the Hal Leonard book does not have, and I think every Method Book 1 should have an exercise like this. I like the Hal Leonard book, but I do think it has some deficiencies, and Distler certainly covers them. Naming all the notes on the fretboard should be one of the first things a guitar player does. It'll help you look at the guitar in a very expansive way and in a non-intimidating way right away. You understand the mechanics of it, and again, I know many players who are left sort of crippled and not able to think of how the guitar works because they didn't understand those mechanics right away. So once again, what do I need to know? A half step is 1 fret, a whole step is 2 fret. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. there is always a whole step. That's the musical alphabet. There's always a whole step between letters, except for B and C and E and F. There's only one fret or a half step between B and C and E and F. And I need to know the starting point, which means what's the string's name. The alphabet spacing is the same on every string. They just start on a different letter. You start on A, you start on D, you start on G, but E and F are always next to each other, and B and C are always next to each other. So fill out that chart on page 11, make sure you do it, and then we can double check the work together. Maybe in a Zoom meeting we can look it over next week, and keep at it. Again, you can email me your questions or anything that is concerning you. And please check in with me too. Let me know you're getting these videos when I put them up, and that you're getting the PDFs, so I know you're engaged. Have a great night or great day, whenever it is you're practicing. Great morning, and we'll see you soon. Stay safe.